for me being up here describing my life is insulting to you? Then how can you speak for the whole crowd and tell me that I'm insulting them? Is anybody insulting? No!
Well, this is where it becomes a very dangerous situation here. And we've been seeing an attack on comedy lately. You know, we see the situations with Dave Chappelle, John Cleese, and a couple of others. And you've seen what has happened and what has transpired to the situations. And of course, we've seen videos of certain comedians on their sets at comedy clubs being verbally attacked by certain people in the audience that basically they do not like the jokes that the particular comedian is talking about. But understand that you've gone to a comedy show and this is what you're going to get. If you've gone to it and you expect it to be triggered off here, then you shouldn't be going to a comedy store. But before we get started with this, I just want to thank all of you there for subscribing, liking, sharing our program. We do really appreciate that. We're at 432, 433 around there. We're trying to reach 500 before the end of the year. We would appreciate those of you who have not subscribed yet to just take that moment, hit that subscription. Also, like and share this video. And if you're interested in getting a lot of our content, be sure to go up, hit that notification bell and switch it to all, and you'll get all of our notifications here on Q2Cast TV, Man with a Show, and of course our Friday night show, Saturday Pre-Flight. Affion Crockett, or Affion Crockett, I'm sorry if I'm not saying his name right, I do apologize. If you're familiar with his comedic career, he was in the movie The Wedding Ringer, Pixels, Haunted House 2. You'll normally see him at comedy clubs generally, and he's had some great sets from what I understand from fans out there. But just recently, he was on one of his sets at the Comedy Zone, I think it was. As he was doing his set, a patron walked up on top of the stage to confront Affion, and she didn't like what he was saying, and they were trying to bring her back down off the stage. And of course, obviously, you hear this section of it. And you know, this is a point you have to be very afraid right now and very angry as well, because you have people out there, you know, that are not in their state of mind, that now they are going on comedy stages and verbally attacking the comedian on stage. This is some Rozzy bullshit that's going on. This is the kind of stuff that was in the 1940s during the Second World War. If the Germans didn't agree what you were putting out there, they shut you down. They came up and verbally or physically attacked you. We're getting to the point, what is the next level of this shit, where basically you're on stage and someone can come run up and attack you? You know, I am well convinced that these people that have been criticizing comedians on stage, they're going purposely to do this, because they're trying to ruin people's night of enjoyment. Because you're sitting there, you paid for a ticket, or you paid a 2-drink minimum, whatever it is, to get into that club. And you go up there and you start chastising the comedian for doing his job. For doing his job. You know, these are the stupid things that goes on. I mean, you already had recently John Cleese canceled his Cambridge Union event because I guess someone else had did it in an off-colored Nazi joke. And they they themselves were freaking ostracized from the campus for the situation. I haven't gotten the full story on them, but we'll be discussing that in another video. And basically, John saw this and he said, you know, I did two Hitler ones. You know, he did the one on Faulty Towers and the one on Monty Python. And, you know, hey, for all that it is, I'll cancel my own stuff out and just not show up. And you know, this is the things that, you know, you need to do. You know, if people are doing this to other people for, you know, for jokes, we have a major problem here. You know, a while back, I don't know if you ever heard of the story of the Count Dankula, that he did a joke online and he was arrested for making an off-colored Nazi joke because he made his dog do a Nazi salute, and people went out and had him arrested. Are we headed for this next? Are we going down to the path to this situation? This is still the United States of America. We still have a constitution here. Freedom of speech in this country. You don't like it? Fine. You don't like that joke? Fine. Then don't come to the comedy shows. Don't watch the comedy specials online. Don't watch those comedy movies because you'll get offended. You want to be offended? That's fine. That's all dandy. But do not take away the rights of everybody else that has the right to listen to this. If you think that jokes causes violence, that it basically hurts people, then you are in the wrong country to be living in right now. Take yourself, put yourself on a plane and go to another country that don't allow these things. And guess what? You're going to find out you won't like it living there. This really gets into me. Because basically I see this day in, day out, every day. We discussed about the Chappelle situation before. And I said this, that these people are grifters. They are grifters that are constantly coming to these events or are protesting in front of places that has nothing to do with the situation because they want to promote their own activism, their own political values, but not realizing that you're violating everybody's constitutional right. When will these companies and the media and everyone else start to freaking wake the fuck up? Media is part of the problem. Some of these corporations are part of the problem. And those of you who have funded money, and I'm talking about the big dollars, that you've put money into these companies, that they've pushed this narrative into these communities, you need to take your money out and take it away from these companies. Take it away from these groups that you're freaking sitting there paying these activist groups, that these groups like the ACLU and all others that basically protect the rights of people that are no longer protecting the rights of Americans today, that they're basically following through with the foregrown small minority groups, the 10 people that are on Twitter, which Twitter is not a place. Every day we hear a new story about this. This needs to stop now. You know how we do it? We freaking back every comedian out there that wants to promote a good show, like a Dave Chappelle or Affion Crockett or Chrissy Meyer or any other comedians that are not afraid to speak up. Not to the political agendas like the last 2 freaking weeks on SNL, which they had an abortion bit and they did a jab bit that was just as disgusting. A while back, you had that series on Netflix, Michelle Wolf, where she did some sort of glorifying abortion. That's not a comedy bit. That's being political. And you see what happened to her. Her series was canceled. There's a time when you can make a joke about it, and then there's a time when you're politicizing it. There is a big difference between the two. If you're sitting there spewing politics, as all these late night shows are doing, as all these comedy shows like SNL are doing these days, we don't need them. We don't. Because they're not comedy shows. SNL hasn't been funny in years. They used to have a great writer's room years ago. Not anymore. We can't have a good laugh anymore because of what the small minority of people are doing. And Dave Chappelle said it. He said, you ain't going to cancel me. I'm not going to bend the freaking knee. And you know that Crockett is not going to bend the knee either. And I'm not going to bend the knee. We have liberty and freedoms in this country. When you realize, those of you out there that are listening that believe in some of these people online, of what they're doing, when will you realize what the American dream is? You haven't realized what it is. Take a trip around the world. See how the rest of the world lives. They would rather us die out because we have been one of the most successful countries in the world. And you may say to yourself, well, we've had problems. Everybody has problems. You always fall down every once in a while. But the difference is when you get up, you learn why you fell down. And that's what made this country great. Is that we've had our issues. We've gone through dark times, which we are again in our dark times. But we learned every time to stand up and be American patriots. And that's very important. Understand this. Be proud of who you are. Don't believe what your professors are telling you in your universities. If you plan to go to college, screw college. Either go to a community college or go to a trade school. Because you want to know what the best thing is? Learning something with your hands. I started out learning stuff with my hands. I went to trade school. My first job was right before high school. I took a job working in a hardware store. Lifting, toting, learning things. If you can't learn to do things in your life that will let you experience everything, then you're not learning anything at all. We've reached this part of the video. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know in the comments how you feel below on this, because I am very angry, pissed off about this. And you know, I try not to push my emotions to the extreme on these episodes because I have a respect for those of you. Because you know, there are people out there that are constantly screaming, yelling, and all that. And I try to be, but every day you hear one more story like this. And we have to stand up against this. So be sure to hit that subscription, hit that like, share this video, especially share this particular one. It's very important people know about this. So we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye now.
Bye, Karen. See, white people be thinking they can do whatever the fuck they want. Storm the Capitol or storm my goddamn stage.